The nation has already been built. I am Queen with Soft Eye Boutique. It is December 22nd, 2025, almost 3 a.m. in the morning, Central Standard Time, and I am up. Supposed to be doing some work that I should have been done. And I got so many other things to do. But this is on my heart. I need to get this out. The part of me vlogging and making these videos and making this page is to be my authentic self. My authentic self is one who just speaks, how they say, truth to power. And I've been like that since I was a little girl, but I used to get in so much trouble for literally just talking about things that I was seeing in my environment, I was seeing going on around me, until I got to the point to where pretty much my voice was stifled for a while. But if you know anything about metaphysics, not even it's not even freaking metaphysics at this point. It's actually healthcare. If you know anything about like autoimmune diseases, or it doesn't even have to be an autoimmune disease, but just medical issues, especially for women and girls, human females, when our voices are stifled, it then internalizes within us, and all types of crazy medical issues will start popping up. Okay, when you're silenced and you're not able to use your voice. So, me making these posts is to let you all know what I've gone through, because I really don't want anybody else to go through what I went through. And, despite me telling my stories, I have made it so far in my life, but I could have been so much more further along in my life and in my career goals and my financial goals and the things that I wanted to do if I didn't stop and make that almost 12-year detour in the Black conscious community. So, okay, I don't want y'all to detour like I did. I really don't. I'm really saying this from the bottom of my heart. So back to the topic, okay? All the sentimental stuff aside. The nation has already been built, y'all. And that is one of the, just research cognitive dissonance when you get a chance. That is one of the biggest cognitive dissonance that the Black conscious community teaches, is that you need to build a nation. If you're a part of the Black conscious community, it doesn't matter what type of school of thought it was, what types of teachers, they're all pretty much intertwined in some way, shape, form, or fashion. But that was specifically for Black folks who are descendants of United States chattel slavery. Okay, so if you are a descendant of United States chattel slavery, your ancestors built the United States of America. Okay, no matter how messed up this country is, and it is very messed up, this is a lot to be desired, we have a nation. We have a flag, despite all the other things that have been done, under these flags. That flag is the greatest nation in the planet Earth. And on top of that, it is extremely young. The United States of America is a baby. It's a baby. But it is the most powerful nation on the planet Earth and in space, which is why we have a United States Space Force right now. And people aren't putting two and two together that intergalactic warfare is a real thing. Okay, because if there was not intergalactic warfare going on, you would not need to be out in space with a military presence. But that's another video for another time. So back to the topic at hand once again. It really had to sink in to me that the nation was already built. And if you watched any of my other videos, you will hear my story of how I told you that I was essentially scammed in the Black conscious community. Not, thank God, not out of sex. I was not scammed out of sex. So I didn't experience any like reproductive abuse that most of the women experience by having all these babies. And most of these men, they not even hitting it right. What I'm hearing from these other women, but I ain't gonna tell nobody business. Or they're essentially single mothers, or they're getting a lot of STIs, all type of crazy things. Thankfully, I didn't experience that from the Black conscious community because I wasn't really dealing with nobody in the Black conscious community. And the one guy that I dealt with, that was over really quickly. Okay, like I don't even think it made it to a year, but that was over really, really quickly. Um, I was not scammed out of money at all. Thankfully, I was not scammed out of money, but I was scammed out of my time. I was essentially scammed out of my 20s, my entire 20s. But yeah, in the beginning of my, kind of telling my age at this point. But thankfully, I always add on to my age so people don't know my age unless you know me. So I was scammed out of my 20s. Yeah, because I came across, so yeah, from like, yeah, out of my early 20s to some of my early 30s. And like I always go back, I went to law school, graduated, got my JD. And I've always been an international person because my Bachelor of Arts was in world languages. And I studied abroad a lot. And so, but it still didn't click. It still didn't click until I got into law school and I took international law. I was taking all these international law classes. And one day I'm going to have to go to my bookshelf. I'm looking at the bookshelf right now. And I have a huge binder, a legal binder that they gave us. And it literally tells you how to build a nation. And when I took that class, and I keep going back to this story because I took that class, y'all, and I'll never forget. I'm like, I saw it in black and white. I'm reading it, international law. I know I'm sitting in this international law class. I'm looking at this syllabus. I'm looking at the table of contents. I'm looking at the index. I'm showing up to these classes. I'm engaging with this professor who is literally known throughout the world for international law. And I was like, oh, you know how that sound bite go, oh, like I've been tripping. I have been tripping. Really, really tripping. And it was so much, it hit me like a ton of bricks because not only was it cognitive dissonance, I did not, and I don't want to start crying. I really don't with what I'm about to say. But I did not realize how disrespectful I was being to my ancestors who went through United States chattel slavery. I can drive with 45 minutes to St. Francisville, Louisiana, and I can go to Rosedown Plantation. That was the plantation that my daddy people was on. A lot of my maternal side were enslaved. I think it was the Greenwood. I think that was the name of the other plantation in West Feliciana Parish. And to know those stories, to even grow up with a great grandfather, a grandfather, and even my father, they either were born, lived, or worked. They were all connected to plantations. So I'm literally the first generation in my family who was not physically on a plantation. And I could not believe it. Like even now, I cannot believe how disrespectful I was being by saying that I'm building a nation. And I get it, and the woman that I am, I have a very, and I don't want to say it's a character defect, but it throws me off a lot because I do have a very high level of understanding of why people do the things that they do, because I'm not I get it. They had to fight against Jim Crow. They had to do all of these things. So I understand why and how a lot of these conscious groups came about. But when I really sit down and I really think about at their core what they're teaching, and the fact that they were even able to do these things and start these movements off of the backs of the people that they say in the triple stage of darkness, deaf, dumb, and blind, it's still disrespectful. So it's a lot of disrespect going on. And I just, like, to this day, I just, like, I every time I go to plantation, I'm just like, I'm so sorry. I can't believe that I was literally saying that I'm building a nation. None of those people are building a nation. The nation was literally already built. It was already built. Okay? And it's wrong, and we cannot take away from the fact that the people, I get it. For the most part, those are people who came over here on the boat, they were not Christians. The majority of them were not Christians. But when they got here, they went through what they did. Christianity was forced on them. And the majority of them, they chose to remain Christians. That was their choice. This country was built by them. Most of the laws that we have were built. I'm not pushing, Christian rhetoric, but these are things that I have to acquiesce to here. And I just could not, but like, even now I'm trying to, like I said, I can have a level of understanding for other people, and I'm trying to give myself that level of understanding as well, and that level of grace, because I think about certain things, like the group that left me, like I always say, they left me, they push, I get it, where they were, I guess their headquarters, I get it. There was talking about education. It was doing this, saying that the founder was sending all these people to school and he was integral. Yeah, that happened. But it does not take away from the fact that the children he was getting scholarships for and sending them to schools, if even if they were going to PWIs, but for the most part during those times you was getting sent to HBCU, those were schools founded by Black folks who were in the quote unquote triple stages of darkness, and Christians, of course, with the help of white dollars as well. So this is the ridiculousness of it all. Like, how can you say that y'all don't have no freaking universities? Y'all don't have no hospitals, the Black hospitals, all of these things that we had. Those were people who were in quote unquote the triple stages of darkness. And that is so disrespectful. You don't have to agree with Christianity. You don't have to agree with any of this, but y'all literally don't have no freaking institutions like that. Who cares about some goddamn fish? You had trade route with fish, some whiting fish from South America. Kudos. Congrats. I'm talking about on a grand level where these university degrees are recognized throughout the United States of America. They are accredited, and you can take those degrees and you can go anywhere in the world with them. The Black consciousness community does not have that. And they did not create that. Okay? Who cares about hip hop? Look what hip hop has evolved into and has ruined our community. And most of those hip hop people we see what's going on now with the Diddy foolishness, and even the conscious ones, they was on drugs, on the chemical drugs, the sherm heads, and addicted to corn. I'm using the keyword for that because I don't want to get, what they say, they take your page down if you use the actual P word. So it's just, they're not taking care of the kids, all type of crazy stuff. So it's just really ridiculous when you sit down and you think about it. And this is something this is a conversation that they're not going to have with you. Ask them, where are your schools? Where are your institutions? And they cannot give you an answer for that because they don't have that. And they're not going to have it. Because no matter what, we are reaping the benefits of our ancestors who are enslaved and who literally built this nation for us. It is extremely disrespectful to honestly believe that you're going to come and it's like, say for instance, look at, I would say, the religious groups like the Seventh-day Adventists and the Mormons. Yes, they're still on the United States as the foundation, which the foundation is, is built off the backs of enslaved folks. But they have schools. Seventh-day Adventists have Loma Linda. They got whole medical institutions. Okay? So where is this? At this point, I get it, herbs, all that is cool, but we're dealing with some for real biochemical warfare. And for a lot of things, you need some pharmaceuticals and some quantum biomechanical machinery to combat the whatever illness and ailments you have on top of the herbs. This is just what we're dealing with. This is insanity. If you were to go travel overseas and you end up in a country where some crazy conflict is going on, some crazy civil war, where they put out a decree saying all United States citizens, you have to get out of here immediately, go to your nearest United States embassy so we can get you back home and get you to safety. And even if we can't get you back home, we're going to send you to a country where they don't have all this going on. But when you land into that country, the people from the representatives from the United States Embassy are going to greet you. You can't go nowhere else. You can't. Come on now. Come on. Who is going to come and get you from these nations? Nobody. Come on. They don't have no special forces. They don't have no the Army Rangers are the best from what I'm hearing. They don't have no Army Rangers to come and get you. If you being held kidnapped by some pirates or something, or some jihadists, they don't have no Navy SEALs to come and get you. They don't have that form of that. This is the insanity. And you're insane. You're insane if you honestly believe that those are nations. At best, they are fraternal orders, and nothing is wrong with being a fraternal order. I think fraternal orders are categorized as a 501c4. Sometimes a 501c3 as well. At best. And some of them are flat out religions. But the other ones, they're fraternal orders. So then you go to the education, right? And as somebody who has, at this point, what can you tell somebody like me who not only has the highest degree in the world, a United States Juris Doctorate, and the highest license in the world, a United States law license, and nothing on here is legal advice. What can you really tell me about matriculating through the educational system? Because law literally touches everything. So you cannot tell me anything. So these lies that they spin, these word games that they tell you, congratulations that your child is going to college and trade school. And they were born into these, whatever nation or group it is. But your child, more than like I said, if they're going to an HBCU and they're going into a foundation that you did not create for them based off of these teachings. You're sending them into an educational system that was not created for them, and please believe it, their children are not going in there changing the system. All of these kids that they have between all of the conscious community, all of these schools of thoughts combined, every time a graduation happens, we should see damn near every black child. So they say, because they're having all these kids, all these children to build a nation which they're cosplaying, and it's really wrong. They're living vicariously through their children, and that is premeditated child abuse to me. Okay, because you're sending your child out there with this name, this powerful name, and I get it. You're supposed to give your children powerful names, but if you haven't changed your name under the law, if you're not living like that, like the person you saying that you are, but you're gonna give your child this name, and you're gonna send your child out here into this world, especially in the United States of America, and they have to stand on this name, and they have to go through, and they have to face all this stuff. There's nothing you can tell them. You cannot connect with them. You cannot sympathize with them because you do not know, because you went through life and you're still going through life as Joseph Jenkins. And you clocking in and your W-2 or your 1099 says Joseph Jenkins. But your child got this all-powerful name, which is not right. It's not right at all. Okay? And so when you go back to these educational institutions and you see, and I just remember thinking, these schools should be filled with people from these conscious communities. Because you had some that was around since the late 1920s, early 1930s. And I'm like, okay, I see what this is. And once again, I'm never going to down somebody from going to school and getting their education and getting this and getting that. But you can't say that your child is different for getting a degree, or even going to law school. I was not the only person in my law school class. I was not the only person who took the bar exam. So I'm trying to stress to y'all that those schools of thoughts and those teachings, they aren't special when it comes to education, because education is simply disciplining yourself in a way so you can sit down and discipline yourself to do the goddamn work and take the test and pass. Like, what are you talking about? Like, there's people who don't, in the triple stage of darkness, deaf, dumb, and blind. Both of their parents still on crack. They the first person in their family, and they making it. They sitting right next to me in law school. They sitting right next to me when we all taking the bar exam. So they got through it. So it's more than one way to skin a cat. And I really need y'all to understand what I'm trying to tell y'all, so y'all don't get caught up in this foolishness. Please don't. And I have my philosophical beliefs, and there's still things that I'm like, okay, well, these people believe this, these people believe that. But it does not change the fact that those people who have beliefs that are totally opposite of mine, that they have the same degrees and licenses that I have too. And this is what I'm really trying to stress. It is a big deal. And if anybody who knows me knows how serious I am about education. But stop making it seem like you can only achieve certain things, certain educational goals and career goals if you're a part of the conscious community. So they make it seem like what they're doing is something that has never been done before. And that's where the cognitive dissonance comes in. That's where it truly comes in. When you really sit down and you realize the things that they are saying, this has been done before. And it has been done numerous times. Like, I'm going to school with folks. I'm not going to say the guy's name, no. Hopefully he never sees this, but it's no bad blood between us. But I went to school with a guy from law school. His family, he come from that old Reconstruction era money. one of his ancestors was the founder of the black boule that they always, that the all conscious community talking about. And when I sat down and I really had a conversation with him about it, he was just like, yeah, they don't know what they're talking about because it's not like that. And I remember telling him, I was like, I figured it wasn't. And this guy, because he comes from that stock, I'm not saying that he does not experience any type of discrimination, because he is a black man. He is a very visible black man, okay, with the dark skin, looks intimidating and has clearly the black features, but he has a certain energy towards him to where, because he comes from that lot and that stock of family, he navigates through life much differently. And I start to realize, like, okay, that's what I'm trying to establish for my lineage going forward. Because I realized his navigation was much more of an ease. And that's because that was what his ancestors had set up for him. And if you always look, and I'm a fighter to my core, I've been through so much in my life. And sometimes, I'm not gonna lie, like, I love the BS, like, I love getting into it with people. But I know that comes from a place of some certain things that I've gone through in my life. I know a lot of that stuff. So I'm able to check myself at this point, like, oh, this is what they call it, the inner child and all that. Like, that's the little girl in me trying to come out, and show folks certain things. And I need to put her to the side for a while. But I'm like, I don't want that for my children. I don't want them to be punks. I don't want them to, and I mean punks as far as taking bullshit from people and taking racism and discrimination and all that. Like, that's what I mean. And I don't want them to cower in the face of anybody. You don't bow down to anybody. You just don't do that, especially when you know you're in the right. But you may not necessarily have to be like me, but those were the things that I had to do, because of certain things that I went through, so I can clear certain, traumatic events out of my DNA. But I never want that for my for my descendants. Now, I will say this. Where the quote unquote struggle will come from is from the act of maintaining. And I really think that is what people don't understand. I don't even want to say we, because I have to get out of this we. I really have to get out of this we. But what I have achieved for myself, and I have a long way to go. People cannot believe when people talk to me and people realize my achievements, and I tell them, man, this is literally just the start for me. And they're like, what are you talking about? What do you mean this is just a start? You have a law license. I'm like, you don't understand because you're not an attorney. You're not a black attorney. You're not the first black attorney in your immediate family. You're not the first black attorney in your immediate family that comes from a family where you are the first generation who was not born, raised, or lived on a plantation. So you don't understand that I still have so much further to go. And for my descendants, they're going to be in a state of maintenance where they have to maintain this versus there being a struggle. Because please believe, and I really am trying not to hold back on talking about the spiritual implications that comes along when black folks have land and when they get money. I'm not even talking about the illegal stuff. Legally, the spiritual attacks that are going to come to you so quick, where all that shit could be gone in not even one generation. It could be gone in your lifetime. So my descendants are going to have to be in a state of maintenance and maintaining. Because now that I know certain things, it's not that I don't have a choice, because I always have a choice, but I know that if I choose the wrong choice, I cannot put that on anybody else at this point in my life. I'm not gonna be saying, man, my people did this or this happened to me and blah. It's gonna be like I knew what I was supposed to do, and I chose to do this, so that's how I effed up. And I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that. So y'all, this is a lot. This is a lot. And I really hope deep in my heart that this video is getting out to the people who it needs to go out to. And I hope that my voice and my words are resounding and are sending out vibrations and frequencies out into the world, where they go out to the people who need to see this video. I mean this from the bottom of my heart and the depths of my soul, y'all. The nation has already been built. Get what you can get righteously. Stay on the righteous path. Please don't disrespect those who came before us, because please believe, before all these nations, that was our people on them plantations. A ham sandwich is not killing our people. It is stress from racism, discrimination, colorism. The majority of the households in the Black community, people are living in hell in these homes. I get it. Wanting to bang on a beast, wanting to do this. Get your family together. Do right by your people. Do righteous by your people. Maintain what you have. Remove the blinders from your eyes. And just be thankful. And I have to tell myself, because there's a lot of times I find myself complaining. And I have to tell myself, like, girl, like you are really tripping. You are really tripping. And and this video is really coming from, because I'm up at, it's 3 something in the morning, and I don't have my contacts in. So this is a 33-minute long video. So I'm gonna cut this short. So this is really coming from a place from the depths of my soul with this, y'all. The nation has already been built, and there's people who, they find me. I'm telling y'all, there's people, they see these YouTube videos. They see these YouTube videos and they don't want to comment on it publicly. So they'll find me on Facebook or they'll find me on Instagram. And there's some people, they know who I am in real life, and I don't hide, because I don't hide behind screens and electronics. That's not who I am. And there are people, sometimes they'll come and see me in person and say, man, thank you for saying it. I was feeling the same way. I just did not have any words for it. And I'm like, yeah, I know, because at one point in time, I did not have words for it. And especially if you're a millennial, maybe some Gen X's, but if you more so on a Gen X-lineal side, some of the Gen Zers as well, my message is really for these generations, these age groups, because the people before that and the people after that lost cause for the most part. But man, just don't get caught up. Don't get caught up. Don't get caught up in that. Just seek out some real medical therapeutic help for whatever trauma that you went through in your life that drove you to those conscious communities, because that's all it is, just trauma that's driving you to that and making you insane. It makes you insane. It is insane. You are insane if you believe that you do not have a nation and you have to build a nation from scratch. None of those people can literally physically build a nation from scratch. I was insane. Out of my mind. My ancestors, and I am in Louisiana, my ancestors literally uprooted cypress trees out of the swamps with a pickaxe and a shovel, and essentially their bare hands and their brute strength. They fashioned and they, what do you call it? Fashioned and forged their own tools, because they wasn't giving them the nails and all that. They had to make that. And you really gonna have these people sit up in your doggone face and tell you that you building a nation. And I can go even deeper into it because of what I learned about, law. But that's another video for a different time. Yeah, don't let these people play with y'all. Preserve your youth. Preserve your time. Please. Get you some help. You can reach out to me if you need to reach out to me. If you want to find me, you'll be able to find me on Facebook or Instagram. I'll make you do the work for that. So I may put my I'll probably put my email address in the chat as well. You can reach out to me. I'm here. I know how it is to be in this age group. I know how it is to feel like you got to build a nation, you got to do this, you got to do that, and you really thinking these people, they have good intentions, but the road to hell was paved with good intentions. Because please believe, who was here before the 1920s and the 1930s? Our people on the plantations. So I don't want to keep y'all too much longer. It's 37 minutes. Sorry to be all up in this camera, but I just had to get this off my heart, y'all. Queen with Soft Eye Boutique.